Hey there, everybody. This is Kristin from Teaching Balance, and I am here with you with this week's mindfulness meditation practice. And we are in a new month, and while I know that we have some members who are not educators and are working in other fields, for those of us who are in education, and I sort of feel tangentially still connected, it's June and it is a glorious time. So happy June, everyone. Whether you are done with school or will soon be done with school, congratulations. And literally a round of applause for making it through this school year. Yeah, that's about that. I mean, I think that chuckle sort of sums it up, and to express what is truly inexpressible regarding what everybody has been through. So here we are. It is June 2021. It is summer. The the U.S. is opening up more, fewer restrictions, more vaccinations, and things are moving forward, and that's really, really nice. And it's a beautiful time to take a deep breath and to move forward. And so when I was thinking about what the June theme could be, I had a couple of ideas, and some harken back to, previous Junes and what people are usually thinking about. But as I reflected on it, this June really feels like unlike any other. It's more of everything and less of everything, and I can talk in riddles, but the point is there's a lot to it. And so for the theme, it really felt right for me to offer up the idea of holding space. Now, the reason I like that idea just in general is that it's a little abstract, because when you read those words, holding space, it's not immediately clear what's meant by that. And I like that, because I think sometimes in this world, when we're just sort of like reading things quickly or looking at things quickly, if it's almost too obvious and too clear, it's very easy to kind of mentally skim over, okay, oh, I know what that means, or oh, that would be nice, or, whatever it might be. And so holding space just requires a little more of a nanosecond of a pause for us to question what exactly that means. And so on the one hand, you could talk about holding space in a very kind of esoteric way. But I think for our purposes, I want it to be pretty straightforward. And the idea being that within yourself, and therefore within your life, the idea of carving out space and making it special in whatever way, you could even go so far as to say the word sacred, for, and then you fill in the blank. And so we're going to explore this through each of our practices this month, each week. And for this opening one, I thought I would weave it into the practice itself. So I'm not going to say too much right now, because I am going to kind of weave it in. But essentially, for our opening practice under this theme of holding space, I'll give it the overarching title of holding space for what we need. And I like the fact that that's very open and that's very subjective. It's entirely up to you. And even as I say those words and you're listening and taking that in, there might be something that came up immediately. Let me tell you what I need, and there may also be some things that are a little bit deeper down below the surface that you might not quite realize yet that you need. And so we're going to explore some of that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. And as always, just allowing yourself to sit in whatever posture feels right to you. But because we have some new members, I'm going to do a quick revisiting just of the standards when it comes to posture. But like I always say, trust yourself and do what feels right to you. So if you're sitting in a chair, both feet flat on the ground with your legs uncrossed. If you're sitting on a cushion like me, your legs will most likely be crossed in that typical fashion. And I'd like to invite you to sit in a way that is upright, but not tight and like rigid, But basically, you just want to align your spine so that your vertebrae are stacked one upon the other. I am a big proponent of rolling your shoulders back because we do tend to be hunched over our work tasks and our technology, etc. And then if you'd like to keep your eyes open, there are many traditions in which that is recommended. You're more than welcome to. You can just lower your gaze and not really look at anything. Or you can also close your eyes if that's preferable to you. To take it to the next level, you can also keep that spine straight and elongated by just slightly lowering the chin. Sometimes people, I think, kind of have this genuflecting look and are looking upward, or they kind of are just a little too inward with their heads down. You really want to have it straight and then just the chin slightly down. And let's go ahead and take some of those deep breaths. And if for some reason your posture shifts, don't worry about it. So you can either go back to how it was or just allow yourself to slide into whatever feels a little bit more comfortable. It's entirely your decision. And for the deep breathing, even though it might be tempting to skip, it does really make a difference. Now, if you're feeling that it's kind of hard for you to take a deeper breath right now, then just do the best that you can, just making it maybe a little slower and a little longer. And if you can actually make it deeper, fill your lungs with more air, all the better. Don't worry about whether you're doing it right or anything. Just, as always, do what feels best. So I'd like for our first part of the meditation to be traditional, and I'll do less talking. And then for the latter part is when I'm going to introduce some of this idea of self-inquiry and checking into what you may need so that you can hold space for it. But for right now, just resting your awareness either on physical sensations associated with the breath, or you can rest your attention on your body in its entirety, or maybe just one part, like your feet or your hands. You can also just notice any sounds that are observable from moment to moment. So let's take a little time to sit in silence, and then I'll come back in for that second part. wherever the mind is now. If it's wandered into thought, remembering that's not a problem. And if you found yourself quite grounded in the present moment, that's great too. But we're all going to come back to this moment, this quality of stillness that the sitting together has allowed to happen, at least perhaps a little bit. And the idea behind this self-inquiry is really just in your mind to pose a question and then to just rest and receive whatever answer might arise. And sometimes it might be where a lot comes out or up, and sometimes it might feel a little quiet. And I'm just going to encourage you just to be patient, because of course you can always do this anytime, whether you're sitting in your meditation practice or sitting at a stoplight in your car. And so the question I'd like for you to offer to yourself, and if you'd like to change it in any way, feel free, but allowing yourself to ask, what do I need right now? Of course, you're welcome to repeat the question, or to just say it mentally once and then just allow yourself to wait with this quality of openness and patience. And you might notice thoughts arising in the form of words. And it might also be more in the form of imagery, seeing what it is that a part of you believes that you need. And so if something came up for you, just making a short note so that you can recall it when we're done. And if you'd like to, posing that same question again with a slight variation where you ask, what else do I need? What else do I need? Just allowing yourself to listen, to wait and receive until you hear that final bell. And even though our practice bell has rung, if you'd like to just sit and continue to sit in that state of self-inquiry, feel free to just stop this or pause it and hold that for a little bit longer. And of course, you can always do that with any of our practices. Just pause my little closing. Keep going if you're feeling it for whatever reason. But assuming that you are done, just to explain that a little bit more, the idea really is just about holding space in your mind, in the interior of your awareness, to just see what arises. because we are often so focused on like what needs to be done, problems that we need to solve, all of these things are very top of mind. And so at the outset of this practice, if, for example, when you heard me say holding space for what you need, and you might be thinking, I just need some rest, which it was one of the things that came up for me immediately. That is fantastic and obviously probably pretty clear to you. And it's also nice to allow the dust to settle, or you could think of it in terms of like, an agitated snow globe. You guys have heard me talk about this before. To have that stillness with your practice and allow all of those little snow particles to settle so that you can have just a little more clarity through the water. And then you might find that there's a need, something that you didn't necessarily know in that more conscious, obvious way that is sometimes revealed to us in those more quiet moments. So we're going to keep going with this throughout the month. I hope that this is something that is interesting and intriguing to you. And as always, thank you so much for taking this time for yourself. And thank you for allowing me to accompany you on this journey. And happy June. Very excited. I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.